So, happy Halloween. I hope you've been enjoying it, my ghouls and witches. YouTube holiday formalities aside, for this spookiest season, I actually wanted to do an idea that I had bouncing around my head for a while, which was, something spooky for the season, obviously, and one of the spookiest games out there is that I've been interested in is Darkstalkers. I'm pretty casual for fighting games, so I'm not gonna try and dive into any kind of like actual gameplay or anything. I've mostly just liked them on an artistic basis. I think I've said this, I've made this stated pretty obviously in my Yu-Gi-Oh! Fighters video. So for more, I guess, input on what I have to say there, go, I guess. Although it's not really the point, I guess. But today, I thought it'd be fun to just sit down and do a nice little simple drawing video. And I wanted to create some new Darkstalkers because, the game has not had a new installment since I think before I was born, which is pretty sad to think about, to be honest. So, I figured I'd sit here and I do Capcom's work for them. And this is an idea I had for a while because I really do enjoy the Darkstalkers character designs. The way they're more influenced by the way they need to be animated more so than just looking cool. I mean, still, they do look really cool. But they also have a lot of fun, unique personality in their animations that I really like the way they're able to convey that, especially with the way they also twist conventional horror tropes around. So that was kind of the idea I had going into this. So throughout the video, I hope you'll see that I try to like take some of the lighthearted fun aspects with the more like traditional horror approach. I tried throwing my own little bit of flair in here and there. Either way, I hope you enjoy. Today we'll just be doing 3 Darkstalkers, nice little simple thing, and I hope you enjoy. So I hope you're ready to go. Got your treats and or tricks with you, and let's just go ahead and hop right into it.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too.
Alright, for our first new Darkstalker, this was actually the very first idea I came up with, and it was one that I take a lot of pride in. All my opinion, obviously, but I think I did a really good job. I think it's a really creative idea, and I had a lot of fun coming up with it. So here we have our witch character, Almira Le Fay. I'm going to, try to explain like the name breakdowns and everything, so that's what I'm going to be mostly covering. You watch my process, and I'll let you know all my silly little ideas I came up with. But Almira was a really fun one. This was like I said, the first idea I came up with whenever I started like coming out with these. I think I first came up with this like I guess video topic like a year ago or so. But I thought it'd be really fun to have like a witch character because there's not like a really like stereotypical magic user in Darkstalkers really. And then I was trying to think. I was like, oh, witches, broomsticks, candy, whatever, blah 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 blah. And I was thinking, well, broomstick, they ride around a broomstick. I'm like, would it be so sick and awesome if it was like a gnarly, like tricked out motorcycle kind of broomstick? So then I went this whole biker approach with it, and it really fits well because like witches are stereotypically, all in like black clothing and like the black hat and all that. And I was like, well, leather's black, so just trade in like the traditional like black cloth for like a leather jumpsuit and make like the hat leather too. I thought it'd just be too good to pass up, And so I really tried leaning on that for the design, and I really want to make the motorcycle broom, I guess, like its own, like kind of like fun design. I feel like that'd be a very integral part to like her animations and moveset and really defining her as a character visually more than anything. Outside of that, I also tried to think of other stereotypical witch things, and I think what's really fun about Darkstalkers is that they a lot of times go back to the source for these kinds of characters to plot inspiration. So for witches, you see a lot of like old fairy tales. Witches are very gluttonous, eating children, or like the Hansel and Gretel, the witch's house made of candy. So I thought it'd be fun if she could also be like another gluttonous kind of character. And even like another way, because witches are supposed to make like pacts with the devil, you could have her having a pact with some demon that would tie her into the lore with the demon royal families, with like Morgan and Dimitri and Jeddah. So that could be interesting to like tie her into the lore story-wise. I think she's the only one out of the 3 I'm presenting today that really would have any kind of incentive to participate in like whatever like the story of this hypothetical Darkstalkers game would be. And for her name itself, I derived it from Morgan Le Fay, which I think is like one way of reading it. It's like the evil witch character from Arthurian legend, like Legend of King Arthur and all that. I didn't do a lot of research into that for this. I mostly just wanted to pull the name. So, I mean, I think like Morgan Le Fay is just like one reading of it. And there's even different ways of spelling it, even inside of that. I mean, I guess depending on region and time frame you're reading it. And Almira is another one that I took inspiration from Darkstalkers' naming scheme, where they name a lot of their characters after famous movie actors who played whatever monster in the film that they're based on. So Almira, I think, is the first or last name of the actors who played the Wicked Witch of the West in the Wizard of Oz movie, which is my mother's favorite movie. But I thought that was another one to pull from. And again, with pulling back to movie references, I feel like there's a lot we can do with like a witch character. The first things really came to my mind, since I have her like a witch biker, she could have a lot of like dashing moves, charging in and out with her broomstick to like close gaps. We could do something with her demon pact. Maybe it can like come out and attack for her, kind of like it can swing its arms for big heavy attacks, kind of like a Beowulf using like Grendel's arm in Skullgirls. I also think she could have some generic magic like blast spells for some range options. So I feel like she could be a very all-rounded character. Really, you can kind of take her gameplay in whatever direction you really wanted to. Although I do think one of the best opportunities here is to give her a super similar to like a lot of Majin Buu's supers from the Dragon Ball games, where she could like turn the opponent into candy and then like eat them to regain some HP. And knowing how Darkstalkers, well, at least previously, really like to play with the idea of like turning your opponent into things with like the Hell Dunk and Midnight Bliss. I feel like this could be something similar to that, where maybe the candy's like personalized to a degree. I feel like that'd be like a really fun way of showing her, like personality wise, because maybe she like turn them into candy and get like really excited or something. I don't know. That's just that'd be funny. And lastly, you'll probably see around here somewhere whenever I'm done with the coloring. But for the colors, I really went with a very stereotypical witch kind of approach, like the green skin and purples and oranges. This is definitely the most outwardly Halloween-y character, in my opinion, that I came up with. This is a very like spooky ghosts and goblins kind of vibe that I really wanted to go and emphasize with on this one. As the other two, I think, are more personalized. You'll see what I mean. The other two designs I don't even think fit Darkstalkers very much with generally what they have so far, but enough of that. I'll get to those whenever we get to those. But for now, this was Almira Le Fay. I hope you liked her. I thought she was fun. It was, like I said, it was the first one I came up with, so I have a lot of sketches I'll try to throw up through here of like my design process going through it, although it is just a lot of just tweaking it more than anything. The other two I had more creative decisions with, But we'll get to those, starting with our next Darkstalker. Now we have the first of the two, like, not very Darkstalkers-ish characters, I guess. My initial thought with this one was I was trying to think of horror tropes that haven't really been done in Darkstalkers yet. And I was thinking, I made like a little list of them. And one of them was, well, two of them, I guess. Slasher kind of character, like a typical Jason Voorhees, kind of guy, just runs around, Michael Myers, killing kids, whatever, And the other one I had was a clown, because, ever since clowns are like a really scary thing. It terrorized my mother. I'm still, a little bit of them. But I thought it'd be fun. I was like, well, I have these two tropes that I don't feel like could stand on their own very well within the series. So I thought it'd be fun if I combine them into maybe like the same character to give them a little bit of extra flavor. So here we have Kichi, which the name is kind of a nothing meaning, I guess, which might be appropriate for the character. I don't know. It was weird coming up with it because the first thing I thought was the Pagliacci kind of meme, from Watchmen. And I was thinking about that. I was like, I don't really know how clown names are supposed to go. So I ended up just making mouth noises until I ended up with a Kichi, which I think that sounds like a clown, to me, if I'm being honest. But for like his general backstory kind of thing, I was trying to think, because a lot of Darkstalkers are like really old, they've lived for a very long time. and like they're just, like they just kind of come out in the modern day, but they've already had like this well established lore history with their motivations or their backstories, anything really. So for Kalichi, I didn't want to make him just like a slasher guy because I feel like that'd be kind of lame in comparison to having like demon kings and succubi and werewolves and stuff like that. So I ended up making him like a kind of a slasher clown cultist character. So he uses some kind of like demonic ritual to absorb souls to continuously extend his lifespan. And I think that's as much as I want to give him in the way of lore, because I do still want him to be very like chaotic, which I know is a little bit like
The Joker, baby.
but I feel like this is a character that could really be fun in terms of having their story, design, and gameplay all reflect that kind of theme of chaos and just havoc unchecked. I feel like this is best shown in his moveset, which I wanted to make him a kind of gimmick fighter, I guess, where at the start of the match, he'll like open up a little grab bag and throw out like two or three different items that kind of just scatter the stage, kind of like Smash Brothers. But these are permanent items, they don't go anywhere, and they can be picked up by anybody in the match. So your opponent can pick them up, and I imagine they just have like simple methods of attacking. So just like maybe like a basic combo for like ground and air or like crouching or whatever. And maybe you can even like throw them too to like deal damage whenever they hit the opponent. I don't know how that would work on input. That would be something for the game designers to figure out. I don't know. But I figure it could be fun, like a way of combining traditional slasher movie tropes with clown gimmicks. So like a flower that when you pick it up will turn to a machete, or a buzzsaw that looks like a pie, or a whoopee cushion kind of like landmine, a spiked bat, but it's a like a bowling pin, or like I thought it'd be funny for like a whip that's like made of like the combined cloth that you'd normally see like a clown pull out their sleeve or whatever. Stuff like that I thought would be fun. The only downside I think I can see with this is that it would probably be really janky with like things like frame data and what that. So it'd be something like it'd be very chaotic, which is the point I want to get across. But it'd be something that have to be very well balanced. Make sure that you can't just like if it's like a 3v3 fighter, you can't just like switch to a character that would pick it up and be able to like instant stun the opponent by throwing and catching at the right time frame or whatever. I don't know. But I think it'd be fun. And plus, it's very chaotic in a degree because it's not directly helping yourself or directly helping your enemy. It's kind of just a real test of like who's more aware of the game state and knows what they're doing the best, I guess. Outside his little item gimmick, though, I do imagine he would be very like heavy brawler or grappler type of character. I could, given the design, I did make him a very large, bulky man, which I'm sure you'll be able to see right here. But I figured he could have like big slow attacks where he could like lunge at the opponent, grab them, maybe even have some kind of like a command grab with super on it. That'd be super armor on it. That'd be pretty cool. It would give him a lot more staying power on his own than instead of relying on just his weapons, which I feel like would make sense, and maybe even some like more moves that would reference like the slasher movie gimmick, considering a lot of those characters are like large behemoths that can't go down even after a couple of hits. So maybe he'd have something where if he got knocked down, he could like use a super bar or like half a super bar or something to become invulnerable for a short time, but his getup is longer and he's invincible through all that. So it'd be more like wasting time, but you would be able to ensure that you're getting back up and not just get thrown right back into a combo or something like that. Little stuff like that I feel like would go a long way. Another thing too was like a level 3 super, like a big final move. He could have something where he like attacks the opponent away and like uses them as sacrifice to expand his lifespan. Mostly just in reference to, like I said, his lore, just like cutting people down to absorb their souls or whatnot. I don't know. But yeah, this one was really fun. Again, I'll try to throw some of my sketches around. But this was a fun one I had coming up with the design process because my first design I was pretty happy with, but I wanted to push myself to see if I can make it better, which I feel like helped me grow a lot as an artist. That's the main reason why I like making these videos. I really feel like it pushes me to think more outside the box and experiment and be a lot more creative than just doing the first thing that I feel comfortable with, which I really appreciate. But I think that's all I got for Kalichi. Now let's move on to our third and last Darkstalker.
Logos binted.
What?
And here we have F.W.M, Flying Wandering Machine. This one was a real challenge to come up with because I think I got this one as a suggestion from a friend when I asked them what kind of characters they would want to see, because they're also a bit of a Darkstalkers fan and are way better than I am. And he suggested an alien type of character, which I thought would be really fun because we don't have any aliens in Darkstalkers really outside of, I think, Pyron, but he's more of like a fire guy, really. And like when I say alien, I ain't talking about some knockoff elemental. I mean an honest to God motherfucking alien, okay? So, bug-eyed man, little green man, you know what I'm talking about. Some real Roswell type of stuff. So that's what I ended up going for. You'll see in my sketches up here that I'll try to put up there that my design process for this was pretty varied, despite only being like 3 designs before I landed on the one I liked the best. My first approach, obviously was like, I was like, aliens, ETs, little gray men, big eyes, whatever. Kind of like that LGM kind of approach. So I've made it more traditionally alien. I gave it like big old arms to like justify being able to attack with. And I was like, it doesn't make sense because aliens are supposed to be like smart or whatever. That's traditionally they're really intelligent. And I didn't want to make just a xenomorph knockoff or anything. So I ended up putting him in a little mech. And I liked the idea a lot. And I was looking at other like alien phenomena around like America and stuff like that. And I landed on the Flatwoods Monster, which I want to say I came up with this idea before the second episode of Dondadon came out. All right, so that was pure coincidence, all right? This is not on me, I promise. But my third and final design, as you'll see here, was very heavily influenced off the Flatwoods Monster, which I thought was really fun in design. Well, I mean, I think the Flatwoods Monster is a fun design in the sense that it's unique and if it stands out very well. Is the least terrifying cryptid I've ever seen in my life outside of the Fresno sussy Night Stalkers or Nightwalkers. Those things are not scary. Anybody who says otherwise is a coward. Same with the Flatwoods Monster. It's not scary either. I think it's just a silly little goober more than anything. And that was kind of the idea I wanted to really show off in my design for it because I made it a mech. Because while looking at my design inspirations again, I saw little green men, like I've said before. And I thought it would be so funny and so adorable if instead of just like short green men, they were tiny like little alien smurfs that pilot this mech around and just kind of like wander around just trying to observe Earth and like learn things about it. And they keep ending up getting in fights because these, fellow cryptids or whatever keep finding their land-based, adventuring robots that they pilot. And I thought it'd be so fun, especially like imagining the animations where like the robot's like lifeless on the ground and like the crew of like tiny little men run in and like climb inside, like power it up and like flies up into the air. That's so fun. And like whenever it's defeated, you could have it like crumble back down and all the aliens like run away, like back, or like maybe they even get extracted by a tiny UFO that like flies them back away so they can like live to fight again another day. I thought it'd just be so fun. It's like so cute and quirky with the little animations. But yeah, like as the name suggests, it is just a little ground unit that's supposed to fly around and observe, flying wandering machine. This was one, whenever I looked at the original design, I noticed it had like the saucer kind of thing on like its lower section. And I thought it kind of looked like a dress. So I thought it'd be fun if their robot normally looked like more robot-like and just had like a small UFO part on the bottom that would fly them around and they had like arms or whatever. But to disguise themselves, they just put on an old dress they found and like a little cloak or blanket wrapped around the head to kind of like hide the robot-looking texture of it, I guess. But obviously, as aliens, they don't know like exactly what humans would think is odd. So it still looks funny with like the little antenna poking out, and you can still tell like the big long fingers and like the you could tell it's a robot. So I feel like it has a fun. This is my favorite. It has something I think Pokemon's really good for. It's cool and it's cute in the same design, and that's just something I really value. It's like a fun little mascot kind of guy, and I even tried showing how it would fight because it could have like long range projectile like lasers or bomb throws or whatever, little things like that. I think this one's my favorite. I really enjoyed coming up with this one. It's just a fun little fellow. But yeah, like as I just said, for his fighting style, I can very easily see it being a very traditional zoner with like long range finger blasts, bombs, and stuff like that. I can even see it like throwing down little walking mini mechs to walk around that maybe explode on contact or just like jump at the enemy to like knock them down or anything like that. I also think it'd be fun if it had like different transformations it could enter to like go faster or deal a little bit more damage at close range. So like not necessarily like a state change, but more like a thing it does for like a single move or two. So it, like for like its dash, it like transform quickly into like a little car or something, dash forward, or if it has like all of its big heavy attacks, it can like fuse it. It can like combine its arms together into like one big fist and then like use that to attack. Kind of like how Victor can like, move his body parts in a weird way to attack from odd angles. Stuff like that I thought would be really fun. It'd give it a little bit more character, I guess. And like for a big like final super kind of attack, I thought it'd be really fun if it like summoned a big UFO to like abduct the enemy. And I don't know if I would like it to be left ambiguous or like show them getting strapped to an operating table and then like cuts to black and then get dropped back on the battlefield after taking a bunch of damage or like having weird effects on them or anything like that. Or if it's just like complete darkness, see them get thrown up, the spaceship kind of thrashes around, they get thrown back down. Either way, I feel like it'd be really fun to like work more of that traditional alien approach into it. And I know they have another robot. I forget the name off the top of my head in Darkstalkers, the other robot. Like the Aztec robot. I also try to make him very distinct from him. So that one's like more top heavy and like walks around and like has a little bit more stiffness to the animation. I want this one to be very fluid, because like it's more advanced than I guess that robot would be. And again, it's another one that I don't think would have much in-universe lore to connect it to whatever story's going on. But I do still feel like the very nature of it being a wandering robot just trying to observe and learn about Earth culture, surely that one of these guys would get like stuck in some tournament or something just, by finding game happen chance because it always happens. And another thing too, it's just a fun little lore thing that I thought of. Since it is just like a generic wandering flying unit, it would be really fun if like, oh, it's like every time you fight one, it's always a different one. It's not the same. Kind of like how I think QB does have lore where it's like, no, it's like this is like the queen of the bee women, whatever thing. But like hypothetically, you could say it is a different QB most of the time because they all look the same. Same thing with F.W.M. All right, and that's our last Darkstalkers for the video. I hope you enjoyed my little Darkstalkers video. I had a lot of fun putting them together, and I really enjoy the designs I came up with. But, if you enjoyed it, I hope you did, feel free, to do all the little YouTube stuff, the comment, subscribe, bells and whatnot we do around here. If you want to see any of the art, you can go check it out on Twitter. I'll post it all on there so you guys can have access to that and do as you please, I guess, really. If you want to see anything else like this, let me know in the comments. I don't know if I want to wait a whole year or if I want to just go ahead and hop in and do another one of these sometime in the near future. I don't know. I might just do it again next year for Halloween, or I might come up with something different by that point. I don't know. I had a bunch of other designs that came up for these while I was working through. Like I had like a cowboy ghost, like it turned his hand to a 6-shooter revolver. I had like the Mothman as like a fun like mutated man kind of character. Stuff like that. I'll have them up here somewhere. If you want to see anything more like that, please let me know in the comments. I always enjoy getting to hear what you have to say about anything, so I value your input a lot, I guess. I'm still trying to learn how this YouTube thing works, so I think I'm getting a little bit of the hang of it. But I think that's it. Like I said, if you want the art, check me out on Twitter, and you can follow me too if you'd like over there. I have some comics out. I went out for a contest. I'll put a link to it somewhere around here, and I'll show the platforms I'll have it on. I think that's all I have to say for right now, so go check me out on anything you feel interested in. And I hope you have a good rest of your morning, day, night, afternoon, whatever it may be for you. And I hope you will join me in wherever the next thing I make is. I'll see you later.